Tobacco CEOs declaring under oath that nicotine isn't addictive. 1994. The guy on the left was arrested and convicted for illegally selling missiles to Iran during the Reagan administration. The guy on the right is a Fox News military analyst who thinks Iran shouldn't have missiles. They're the same guy. Each slide is only one picture. Baby raccoon waits on doorstep all alone for someone to notice him. Thermal image of a sleeping husky. This man left his 40-year-long career in another airline to join AirAsia and fly as a junior, just so he could fly with his 2 pilot daughters. He wants to spend his remaining years as a pilot by his daughters' sides. Meet Rebecca Sherrick. She has a condition called hyperthymesia, which gives her the ability to remember every single day of her life. Former world's fattest man, Khaled bin Mozenshari, lost 547 kilograms after a life-saving offer from Saudi King, now weighing 63 kilograms. Controversial Telegram co-founder says he'll leave $17 billion fortune to his 106 children. Pavel Durov said he decided to allocate his estate this way now because his work involves risks. Anthony Irvin, a swimmer who won a gold medal at the 2000 Olympics, retired at 22, began abasing ducks, at one point being hardly able to get off a sofa for days on end. But in 2011, he got back into swimming. At the 2016 Olympics, at age 35, he became the oldest swimmer to ever win a gold medal. This is the world's happiest animal. It smiles for cameras and throws its baby at predators to escape. This man, Mahavi Singh Fogat, trained all 4 of his daughters to become professional wrestlers in a rural village where women weren't even allowed in the sport. 3 went on to represent their country internationally. Went searching my neighborhood for the hottest object I could find during this heat wave, and the winner was the plastic handpiece on this broken payphone at 155.6 degrees. Tech company creates AI grandma that keeps phone scammers occupied and furious. I'm going to ruin this whole man's career. The imprint this dove left when it flew into my window is almost perfect, and after a few minutes staggering around, he recovered and took off. 71 years old Turkish woman just received an associate degree in graphic design. World's smallest tactical nuke, the W-54. Both of these actors were 34 years old at the time of the photographs. Sershan Kanari and Thomas Brody Sangster were both 34 in these photographs. The largest and smallest horse breeds hanging out together. What a pilot sees at night. Headlights off. What pilots see at night. How the bunker buster works. 1. The bomb is released from a B-2 stealth plane at around 12 kilometers, 7.5 miles, above the target. 2. With no engine. It is a very high altitude which allows it to generate speed as it falls. 3. Satellite guidance allows it to steer using adjustable tail fins. 4. The huge weight of the bomb results in a large amount of kinetic energy on impact. 5. This energy drives a dense alloy casing up to 60 meters underground. 6. Finally, a delayed fuse detonates 2,400 kilograms of explosives. This tree from Ecuador can walk up to 20 meters per year by growing new roots in the direction it wants to move. One of the fake heads used as a decoy during the 1962 escape of 3 prisoners from Alcatraz, made with soap, toilet paper, toothpaste, and concrete dust. $2,000 worth of astronomy equipment versus $1.6 billion Hubble Space Telescope. Sealed 5.5 million years, Romania's Moval cave hosts eyeless creatures thriving in a toxic, alien-like ecosystem. 3 months ago, a powerful sound cannon LR-80 was used against people during a moment of silence in Serbia. The sound was so loud and terrifying that made everyone panic in an instant and search for cover. Serbian officials are still denying that anything was used. Birds bulking out the sun in Rome. The rare purple honey found only in North Carolina. Picture of a base in Digagasha in early April. Evolution of Hokusai's Great Wave. 1. When he was 33, 1792. 2. When he was 44, 1803. 3. When he was 46, 1805. 4. When he was 72, 1831. A Swedish billionaire has bought 400,000 acres of the Amazon jungle just to protect it. He purchased a logging company that owned the land and shut it down to prevent further commercial destruction. Paparazzi photographer Ron Colella would wear a football helmet around actor Marlon Brando after Brando once broke his jaw and knocked out 5 teeth. This city in Romania stares at you. Slexadbeak-Ted tortoise retires after fathering 800 kids and saving his species from extinction. Article from 1963 suggesting to just pour used motor into a hole in the ground. Disposing of used engine oil can be a problem. Solution: dig a hole in the ground with a post hole digger and fill it with fine gravel. Then pour in the oil. It will be absorbed into the ground before your next change. Cover the spot with soil. Image of Apollo 11 and 12 taken by India's moon orbiter. Disapproving moon landing deniers. Apollo 11 lunar module. Apollo 12 lunar module. This doctor has treated over 1 million patients in rural India for just or $0.06 for 40 plus years. A New York City police officer comes face to face with Ming, or 350-pound tiger secretly living in an apartment in Harlem in 2003. This girl had an allergic reaction to her scene care product. An Optima battery malfunctioned in a way I've never seen. Matthias Rust, age 19, flew a Cessna 172 illegally to Red Square in 1987. In 2019, thieves stole a fully functional solid gold toilet worth $4.5 million from a British palace, and it's still missing. Found off the coast of Chile, Pyrrha chilensis looks like a rock, but is actually a living marine animal. It has blood, organs, and even gets harvested as seafood in some places. It doesn't move, but it filters food from the ocean like a sponge. This was Lonesome George, last of Pinter Island tortoise. After he died, scientists took final measurements. Full species went extinct with him. How you think you look when a flashlight is taken. How you really look. The first ever meme was created in 1921. A telephone cable is made up of an estimated 3,600 color-coded wires. Photographer Charles Daniels has been photographing famous rockers like Rod Stewart, Jimi Hendrix, since the late 1960s. However, tens of thousands of his photos have never been seen. They are sitting in roughly 3,200 rolls of undeveloped film in his Boston home. Some of the most expensive pieces of technology ever created by humanity. Airbus A380 Flying Palace. $600 million. B-2 Spirit size comparison, showing it dwarfs other fighter jets. High resolution photo Earth from geostationary orbit taken 15 minutes ago. Neptune, by NASA's Voyager 2 probe on August 17, 1989. The same picture in January 2024 with corrected calibrations. In 1952, claims that no skiing causes answer caused Kent Cigarettes to come out with an asbestos filter to protect its smokers. A love heart-shaped lightning strike that happened last night, seen from Melrose in the Scottish Borders. World's oldest recorded joke is a dart joke from 1900 BC, which goes, something which has never occurred since time immemorial. A young woman did not dart in her husband's lap. Norwegian speed skater Oscar Mathiesen pictured with his many awards and honors throughout the early 1900s. Jaranuka long-necked antelope found in East Africa. A basketball court located within a large natural limestone cave in Guizhou, China. Creepy lingers of the forest. Time lapse of the airspace over 4 hours tonight. This is Ronald Wayne, official co-founder of Apple along with Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. He once held 10% stakes of the company, but sold all of it for $800 in 1976. Today that would be worth around $300 billion US. Tender moments with lions in the rain. The inside of a Coke freestyle machine. These oil storage units I came across on Google Earth. A 16th century church converted into a tennis court. One of the 3 remaining genuine Finnish Molotov cocktails from Winter War. Filled with gasoline, booze and pine tar. Thanks to the 2 storm matches instead of a rag, it's safer and more reliable, and can be put out and relit if needed. The marble bust of Emmanuel Nevanda, said to be Africa's first ambassador to Europe, in the Basilica di Santa Maria Maglia, Rome, Italy. It was carved in his honor circa 1608 by Francesco Caporale. Cloudflare has a wall full of lava lamps they feed into a camera as a way to generate randomness to create cryptographic keys. The Congress of Freaks, some of the most popular freak show performers in America, promoted by the Ringling Brothers Circus. This picture was taken at their peak popularity in 1924. It includes George and Willie Muse, the ambassadors from Mars, Simon Metz, Pinhead, and Isaac W. Spragg, the living skeleton. The Carlton Tavern, London, was illegally demolished in 2015 by developers who wanted the land. They thought they'd just get a manageable fine, but were ordered to rebuild it, exactly as it was, brick by brick. Here it is today. The older bricks are obvious on the right. The Big Bang happened 13.8 billion years ago. Hubble sees back to roughly 13.5 billion years. JWST was designed to peer into a part of the universe we've never seen before. When the first galaxies came to existence, the first stars came into life, the first bulk holes appeared. On April 20, 1972, Apollo 16 astronaut Charles Duke, the youngest human in history to ever walk on the lunar surface, left a photo of this family portrait of him, his 2 sons, and his wife, which remains on the moon to this day. Still getting purple and yellow tipped seeds from this particular strain I bred crossing Grandaddy Purple and Blue Power. This is the 3rd time it's produced seeds like this. Room 306 at the Lorraine Motel is frozen in time since the day Martin Luther King was murdered in Memphis. It still contains the ashtray with the last cigarette Martin Luther King ever smoked. Perhaps the most terrifying space photograph to date. Astronaut Bruce McCandless II floats completely untethered, away from the safety of the space shuttle, with nothing but his manned maneuvering unit keeping him alive. The first person in history to do so. Credit, NASA. The Elysia chlorotica is a slug that can perform photosynthesis and live like a plant by taking chloroplasts from them. This is the skull of the prehistoric predatory whale, Leviathan milvelli. This whale had teeth over a foot long and would have competed with megalodon for food. Natural copper replacement petrified wood. This is a display in the London Museum of Natural History. Wood that soaked in copper-rich fluids in a mine for so long that copper ended up completely replacing the wood. In the late medieval period and early modern period, animals were often seen as capable of seduction and luring people into sexual acts, and would often be held responsible in actual trials. Many animals were converted and nourished for the belief that they had lured people into acts of bestiality. In Chamberlain, South Dakota, a 50-foot sculpture called Dignity was created to honor the women of the Sioux tribe. Firefighters at Sequoia National Park wrapping General Sherman believed to be 2,200 to 2,700 years old in fireproof material to protect it from nearby fire. Visual difference in the shades of green between India and Pakistan from satellite. The Indian side is greener since Indian farmers has better access to hybrid seeds, NPK fertilizers and machinery for agriculture. 5 interesting places people are forbidden or restricted from visiting. 1. The Doomsday Vault. 2. North Sentinel Island. 3. Lascaux Cave. 4. Bangor Fort. 5. Vatican Archives. Warning on nuclear waste disposal site designed to be read hundreds of thousands of years into the future. All knowing us humans. This will just make us want to open it more. This place is not a place of honor. No highly esteemed deed is commemorated here. Nothing valued is here. What is here was dangerous and repulsive to us. This message is a warning about danger. For decades, we thought Homo sapiens evolved in East Africa 200k years ago. But it's now widely accepted that this skull pushes the date back to 300k years ago and in Morocco, North Africa. Everybody is upset because this says Alaska. It's ours as a play on poor taste nationalism. But it's a cheeky ad for a region of Russia that is our Alaska, called the Toffel State Nature Reserve. This is clearly called out by the pin drop and complete absence of Alaska on the billboard. This is a gulper eel. They live at depths below 10,000 feet under the ocean. Some gulper eels can actually consume prey that's bigger than they are because of their distinctive jaws. A piece of foil, a leftover from the landing gear of the Perseverance rover, was recently spotted stuck between two rocks, over 3 kilometers away from the landing site. There were candle clocks that were set to burn for a certain amount of time. When you wanted to set a reminder or alarm, you would attach a nail to the candle at the time you wanted, and when the candle melted to that level, they would fall on the metal candle holder and make a sound to warn you. I built an observatory in my backyard to take pictures of deep space. This is the Eagle Nebula, captured using a 12-inch telescope. I removed all the stars to make the famous pillars of creation stand out more. 1800 years ago, a convert to Judaism called Jacob wrote a grave marker in red ink, warning the world against opening his grave in the prestigious Jewish Beit She'rim cemetery in the Galilee. 5 more places forbidden or largely inaccessible. 1. The Coca-Cola Vault. 2. Snake Island. 3. Digogasha Island. 4. Tomb of Kinshi Huan. 5. Ice Grand Shrine, Japan. The skeleton of Archaelonosaurus, the biggest turtle that has ever lived. It measured 15 feet from head to toe and weighed almost 5,000 pounds. In 1985, this movie was rushed to theaters because another director, Robert Zemeckis, was also putting out a sci-fi movie. That movie would be Back to the Future, hitting theaters 9 days prior. As a result, they never properly finished editing the movie and didn't find real success until it hit VHS. A photo of the Rhine in February 1956, the year Germany reached polar temperatures of more than -30 degrees Celsius. There is a cloud in Australia named Hector. Hector the convector forms almost every afternoon in the summer over the Tiwi Islands in the Northern Territory of Australia. This is the U-2540. It's the only surviving type of the 21 U-boat in the world. The Type 21 U-boat is a submarine that is basically the ancestor of modern day diesel submarines. It is the most high-tech submarine ever. The tobacco smoke enema was used by European physicians to cure many conditions from stomach pain to the resuscitation of near-drowning victims. Doctors of that day weren't aware that they were blowing smoke up people's aces in more ways than one. A Chechen civilian praying during the Battle of Grozny. The flame in the background is coming from a gas pipeline hit by airburst shrapnel. Dragon blood tree. Dracæna cinnaberi. Dracæna cinnaberi. The Socotra dragon tree or dragon blood tree is a dragon tree native to the Socotra archipelago, part of Yemen, located in the Arabian Sea. It is named after the blood-like color of the red sap that the trees produce. The mushroom cloud of the Tsar Bomba, pictured here rising 37 miles above the clouds skimming the stratosphere. The most powerful man-made explosion in history. It was detonated by the USSR over the Arctic Circle in 1961, exploding with the force of 50 million tons of TNT. The fastest man-made object ever built is NASA's Parker Solar Probe. It travels through space at approximately 330,000 miles per hour, meaning it can circle the entire Earth once every 4.6 minutes. On January 15, 1919, In what was one of the most bizarre disaster in US history, a storage tank burst on Boston's waterfront, releasing 2 million gallons of molasses in a 15 feet high, 160 feet wide wave that raced through the city at 35 miles per hour, destroying everything it touched and killing 21 people. In 1944, the Tennessee River was dammed up to make Kentucky Lake, flooding a few towns. Today I saw the only part of Danville, Tennessee, that remains above water. We are staying at an Airbnb in Bisbee, Arizona, and they have a historical picture book that has a photo from 1932 that shows the house we are staying in. My husband captured a photo of a fog bow this morning. A fog bow is a faint arc of light in a bank of fog, when the sun is low in the sky behind you, and the fog is in front of you. These paintings from the ancient Maya city of Calakmul depict the preparation and drinking of cacao about 3,900 years ago. The pyramids of Mont Alban have some of Mesoamerica's oldest hieroglyphs. They still have not been translated. The Abelisaur dinosaur neck vertebra bone, approximately 98 million years old, as it was found in the field in the Bahariya Oasis, Egypt. 16th century artists created this beautiful glass painting of bishop with just 4 colors: bulk, brown, yellow, and gold. The Tornado Girl. This photo took second place in the 1989 Kodak contest. In 1977, when Star Wars became the top film, surpassing Jaws, Steven Spielberg took this ad out in Vanity to congratulate George Lucas. "Dear George, last week Star Wars moved ahead of Jaws in domestic film rentals. Your hyperspace performance package really did the trick. Congratulations to the Cantina crowd and all the forces of your imagination that made Star Wars so worthy of the throne. Wear it well. Your pal, Steven Spielberg."